Well, when I think of stewardship, I'm reminded of what we read in Mass every week. Our stewardship prayer, faith-filled prayer, service to our neighbor, and generous sharing. And really, when we're baptized, we're called into our Christian faith, and our commitment as Christians is to fill out what Christ wanted us to do. And these three things really sum up everything. To be prayerful, to share with our neighbor, and to actually to tell our stories, to evangelize to people what our faith is. I think this is really what stewardship means and how it connects to our baptism.
The best way to explain the purpose of a church is that we are a single body of believers. We are all on this journey together. One of the things my pastor did is he brought us into the gym while we were doing our adult confirmation, while I was getting prepped to join my church. And he showed us the line in the gym, and he said, imagine you're on this line, and you're not alone in this. You're with the whole church. It's you helping somebody that maybe fell back, all going into this destination. And for whatever reason, it hit me. It was like, oh my gosh, yes, like we're doing this together. Sometimes we're gonna fall down, sometimes we're gonna need help. And the best thing you can do is be part of your congregation or your parish and be there for each other and walk together and have this journey together.
So I think, to me, stewardship is recognizing and receiving the gifts that God has freely given to us, and then just sharing that with others.
And I think in addition to that, it's I think the recognizing is the first and foremost thing, and I think as Kelly said, but also recognizing that stewardship doesn't always have to seem like a burden or work, and that it can be fun and something you can look forward to, because it's, if anything, God's grace, and it should be something to get excited about, and something that you want to share.
And I think that by sharing our stories, to me, that's what it's all about, is how, we go to church and we sit by these people and all the time, and we really don't know them. We don't know their backstories. You don't know their joys and their trials. And so that's what stewardship is to me, is sharing your story so we can all be in this faith together and encourage other people to come into the church faith.
There's so much more than just walking in a building. It extends to every facet of your life.
I recently retired, actually about 2 years ago, and I was brought up a cradle Catholic and felt like I was, did everything within the Catholic Church, but I started going to Mass. I went to Mass one day after I retired to thank God for all the blessings in my life. And that morning Mass just caught me, where I feel it's almost an obligation now to go every day, because it makes me feel so good. The quietness of the church in that early morning really just gives me a spiritual feeling that gets me on throughout my day. And that, by starting morning Mass, it's just helped me develop and propagate my faith a little bit more, and to be able to tell stories and do different things for other people.
So I think stewardship does change based on the season of life that you're in. Right now, you're right, time is not the easiest gift to give right now. So we like to do simple things and use the parish as a great resource for donating to the food pantry. I keep a list on my grocery list of the items that they're looking for, so whenever I'm at the grocery store, I can pick up whatever they're needing that month for the food pantry. Or always having the kids be there for when they're doing the giving tree. The kids love picking off the tags and then helping to go pick out the items for that particular group of people or individual. So just trying to utilize those ways.
For myself, every time a little baby is baptized at church, and they have the sponsors or godparents make promises about how the upbringing is going to happen. I, as a Sunday school teacher, VBS director, also make these promises to this child. This is my role. This is what I'm called to do. I am called to help these kids on their journey in faith. And, you know, maybe they're going to have tough questions, and maybe it's not going to be like the easiest thing in the world, but if I can be there for them and I can guide them in any way possible, that's what I'm called to do. I'm called to do these things, and I have these gifts for a reason, and I don't feel that if I don't do it, I guess I feel like if I don't do it, I'm doing a disservice to myself, because God gave me these gifts for a reason.
I think the gifts that I've been given, mostly I really just, I feel a calling to help people, to heal, and to kind of be there for people, you know, when people feel down. That's why I'm here, I think. So I guess I plan to use that. My hope is to be in the medical field and to be able to help people who are sick and hurt, and to the best of my ability, make them better and able to go back to their families.
I believe that God has given me the gifts of being musically talented, and using the element of music, I feel like I can help bring happiness and joy into people's lives by performing and playing music for them. I also think that just learning music is one way of practicing God's talents that He's given me and many others, my friends and family and all the people around me, and I feel like it's just a great way to express God's love. Another strength that I believe that God has given me is strength in the STEM systems in education, so I feel like with those talents in the science and mathematical field, I can help to be a problem solver when I grow up, maybe be a doctor, help people, assist others, and overall just try to make an impact on the world as much as I can.
So one thing that we do is for their piggy banks, they have like 3 separate jars, and one's for giving, and then savings and spending. So we always try to put an emphasis on not only is it what you have, but how can you share that with others. So whether it's from a monetary standpoint, or even it's neat to see how they pick up on that generosity, and they, for instance, just this morning, Drew paid attention and noticed someone needed the door open, and he just ran up and did that. So just being aware that there are people around us that need help sometimes, and how can I help at the time. So it's neat to see them start to live that way too.
And 35 years later, I have kept this letter that my dad wrote to me. And he talked about how important it was that we worship together as a family, that if I can just read a few lines of it, it's that we all believe in the same God and Christ. And he said the most important thing is the love that Jesus had for all of us, and God gave him to us as our shining light and hope for an everlasting life together. So he said it was important to instill this into our children as a family.
Our faith has given us strength in trying times and greater appreciation of His countless blessings during our joyous times. So with prayer, we continue to work, spreading our faith to our children, grandchildren, family members, and hopefully our friends in the community as well.
I would say first and foremost that in order to inform or help another family recognize their gifts, it would be important to first recognize them on an everyday basis. In addition, I think pay attention to the gifts that others have and allow them to serve you, because I think it's important to not only serve but be willing to be served, and recognize that others' talents, you recognizing others' talents may be an opportunity to still share their talents with someone else. For example, if I can't help someone with something, I can refer you to that other person who I know is going to help you a lot more than me. So I think recognition is probably the first step, I would say.
Yeah, that, and also seeing what do you enjoy doing? What gifts do you see as being enjoyable to share with others, and going down that path? Because like Matt said, I think one of the blessings of stewardship is in giving you receive. And not only is it nice to see how you can share things with others, but it makes you feel good. And I think that's a really good blessing of sharing those gifts.
And I think stewardship is definitely countercultural in that respect.
Have it just be just this abundant light that shines, you know, not to capture your light underneath a little basket, you know, open up that basket and let that light out.